The rain came down like bullets on the asphalt, each drop exploding against the black SUV stalled on the shoulder of Route 9. Iris Pendleton stood barefoot beside her car, one hand gripping a tire iron she had no idea how to use, the other cradling the swell of her belly. Her designer dress clung to her skin, soaked through, and her hair hung in wet ropes across her face. "Ma'am, please." The man's voice cut through the storm. "Let me help you." She turned. He was older, maybe 50, with a gray-streaked beard and clothes that looked like they had survived a war. His boots were split at the seams. His jacket was patched with duct tape. But his eyes were steady, kind, and desperate all at once. "I don't need your help," she said, her voice shaking. "Not from cold. From fear. From the baby kicking hard against her ribs. From the fact that her phone was dead and she was alone on a road she did not know." "Your tire's flat," he said, stepping closer, hands raised like he was calming a wild animal. "And you're about to pass out. I can see it." She wanted to argue, but her knees buckled. He caught her before she hit the ground. "I've got you," he whispered, lowering her gently to the wet pavement. "I've got you." And for the first time in years, Iris Pendleton, mayor of Riverside, a woman who controlled budgets and policies and people's lives, let someone else take control. She did not know his name. She did not know he was homeless. And she had no idea that in 2 weeks, she would be the one deciding whether he lived on the streets or found a home. Boone Hutchins had not meant to be on Route 9 that afternoon. He had been walking toward the shelter in town, the one that closed its doors at 6, and he was already late. But when he saw the black SUV pulled over, hazard lights blinking like a heartbeat, he stopped. He always stopped. It was a habit left over from another life. A life where he wore clean clothes and had a job and people called him sir. That life was gone now. But the instinct to help had never left him. The woman was standing beside the car, barefoot, her face pale and tight with pain. Pregnant. Very pregnant. And alone. Boone's stomach twisted. He knew what it was like to be alone. "Ma'am," he called out, his voice hoarse from lack of use. "You okay?" She spun around, eyes wide, clutching a tire iron like a weapon. "Stay back." He stopped, hands up. "I'm not gonna hurt you. I just want to help." I said stay back. But then her knees buckled. And Boone ran. He caught her just before she hit the ground, his arms sliding under hers, lowering her carefully to the wet pavement. Her skin was cold. Too cold. "Hey," he said softly, brushing wet hair from her face. "Stay with me. What's your name?" Her lips moved, but no sound came out. Boone looked around. No cars. No houses. Just trees and rain and the hum of the storm. He was all she had. "Okay," he whispered, more to himself than to her. "We're gonna figure this out." He did not know her name. He did not know she was the mayor. He did not know that in 2 weeks, she would hold his entire future in her hands. All he knew was that she needed help. And Boone Hutchins had spent too long being invisible to walk away now. Iris opened her eyes to the sound of metal scraping against metal. She was sitting in the passenger seat of her own car, door open, rain still hammering the roof. Her head throbbed. Her mouth tasted like copper. And the homeless man was crouched beside her flat tire, working. "What are you doing?" she croaked. He looked up, relief flooding his face. "You're awake. Good. I'm changing your tire." "I didn't ask you to do that." "I know." He turned back to the lug nuts, his hand steady despite the rain. "But you passed out. And I'm not leaving a pregnant woman on the side of the road." Iris pressed a hand to her belly. The baby kicked, hard. She winced. "You okay?" Boone asked, pausing. "I'm fine." "You don't look fine." She wanted to snap at him, to tell him to mind his own business. But the truth was, she felt like she was breaking apart from the inside. The baby was not due for another month, but the cramps had started an hour ago, sharp and relentless. "How far along are you?" Boone asked quietly. 8 months. He nodded, his jaw tight. We need to get you to a hospital. I can drive. Not on that tire, you can't. He wiped rain from his face. And not in your condition. Iris stared at him. Really looked at him. His clothes were falling apart. His face was lined with exhaustion. But his hands were gentle. His voice was calm. Why are you helping me? She whispered. Boone was silent for a long moment. Then he said, because somebody should have helped me once. And they didn't. The words landed like a stone in her chest. She did not know what to say. So she said nothing. Boone finished tightening the spare tire and stood, wiping his hands on his jeans. That'll get you a few miles. But you need to go slow. Thank you, Iris said, and she meant it. He nodded, stepping back into the rain. Wait, she called. What's your name? He hesitated. Boone. Boone, she repeated. I'm Iris. He smiled, just a little. Nice to meet you, Iris. And then he turned to walk away. Wait, she said again, louder this time. Where are you going? Shelter closes at 6, he said without looking back. I'm already late. Iris watched him disappear into the rain, something twisting in her chest. She did not know why, but she could not stop thinking about his hands. Steady, gentle, kind. Iris made it to the hospital 20 minutes later, her hands shaking on the wheel the entire drive. The baby was fine. She was fine. But the doctor ordered bed rest for the next 2 weeks, and Iris felt her entire world tilt. 2 weeks. She could not afford 2 weeks. She was the mayor of Riverside, a small town outside Portland, Oregon. She had a budget meeting on Monday, a town hall on Wednesday, a vote on the new housing ordinance on Friday. The ordinance she had written. The one that would clear out the homeless encampments along the riverbank and replace them with a public park. The one that would force people like Boone onto the streets. Iris sat in her hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, and felt sick. She had not thought about it like that before. Homeless people were a problem to solve. A statistic to manage. Not real. Not people with names and gentle hands and tired eyes. Not people like Boone. Her phone buzzed. Her assistant, Jenna. Iris, where are you? The press conference starts in an hour. I'm in the hospital, Iris said flatly. Silence. Then, are you okay? Is the baby okay? We're fine. But I'm on bed rest. You'll have to cancel everything. 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 Jenna sighed. The council is not going to be happy. Especially about the ordinance vote. I know. Do you want me to postpone it? Iris hesitated. The ordinance had been her idea. Her project. She had spent months convincing the council that it was the right move. That cleaning up the riverbank would bring in tourism, revenue, progress. But now all she could see was Boone, walking away in the rain. No, she said finally. Let it go to a vote. Are you sure? I'm sure. But she was not sure. Not anymore. She hung up and closed her eyes, her hand resting on her belly. The baby kicked again, soft this time. Iris thought about Boone's words. Because somebody should have helped me once. And they didn't. Who had he been before? What had happened to him? And why did she care? She told herself it was just hormones. Pregnancy brain. The stress of everything catching up to her. But deep down, she knew it was more than that. Deep down, she knew that Boone had seen her. Really seen her. Not as the mayor. Not as a figurehead. But as a woman, alone and afraid, who needed help. And he had helped her anyway. Even though he had nothing. Even though she had everything. Iris opened her eyes and stared at the white hospital ceiling. She did not know Boone's last name. She did not know where he lived. But she knew one thing. She had to find him. 3 days later, Iris was back home, confined to her couch with strict orders not to move. But her mind would not stop moving. She kept seeing Boone's face. Kept hearing his voice. Because somebody should have helped me once. And they didn't. She picked up her phone and called Jenna. "I need you to find someone for me," Iris said. "Who?" "A homeless man named Boone. He helped me on Route 9 last Thursday." Jenna was quiet for a moment. "You want me to find a homeless person?" "Yes." "Iris, do you know how many homeless people there are in this county?" "I know. But he said something about a shelter that closes at 6. Start there." Jenna sighed. "Okay. I'll see what I can do." 2 days later, Jenna called back. "I found him. His name is Boone Hutchins. He's been staying at the River Street shelter when he can get a bed. But most nights, he sleeps under the bridge on 4th. Iris felt her chest tighten. Under the bridge. In the cold. In the rain. "Does he have family?" she asked. "Not that I could find. No records. No emergency contacts. It's like he just appeared 5 years ago." "What happened 5 years ago?" "I don't know. But Iris, there's something else." "What?" "The housing ordinance vote is tomorrow. And if it passes, the encampment under the 4th Street Bridge gets cleared out. Which means Boone loses the only place he has to sleep." Iris closed her eyes. She had written that ordinance. She had pushed for it. And now it was going to hurt the one person who had helped her when no one else would. "I need to see him," Iris said. "You're on bed rest." "I don't care. I need to see him." Jenna hesitated. "Iris, what are you doing?" "I don't know yet," Iris whispered. "But I have to do something." That night, Iris sat in her living room, staring at the fireplace, her hand on her belly. The baby was quiet. Too quiet. She thought about Boone, alone under a bridge. She thought about the ordinance, sitting on the council's desk, waiting for a vote. She thought about all the decisions she had made as mayor. All the policies. All the budgets. All the times she had chosen progress over people. And for the first time, she wondered if she had been wrong. Her phone buzzed. A text from Jenna. "The vote is at noon tomorrow. Do you want me to pull it?" Iris stared at the message for a long time. Then she typed back, "No. Let it go forward. But I need to be there." "You're supposed to be resting." "I'll rest after." She set the phone down and looked out the window at the dark sky. Somewhere out there, Boone was cold. Hungry. Alone. And tomorrow, she would have to decide whether to make his life even harder. Or whether to risk everything she had built to give him a chance. Iris could not sleep. At 2 in the morning, she gave up trying and grabbed her keys. Jenna would kill her. The doctor would kill her. But she did not care. She had to see him. She drove slowly through the empty streets of Riverside, her headlights cutting through the fog. The 4th Street Bridge loomed ahead, dark and silent. She parked at the edge and stepped out, pulling her coat tight around her belly. Under the bridge, she saw the flicker of a small fire. Shadows moved in the orange light. "Hello," she called softly. The shadows froze. "I'm looking for Boone Hutchins." Silence. Then a figure stepped forward. Not Boone. A younger man, thin and wary. "Who's asking?" "A friend," Iris said. The man laughed, bitter. "Boone don't have friends." "Please. I just need to talk to him." The man studied her, eyes narrowing on her belly. Then he turned and called into the darkness. "Boone. Someone here for you." A moment later, Boone emerged from the shadows. When he saw her, his face went pale. "Iris." He rushed forward. "What are you doing here? You should be home. Resting." "I needed to see you." "Why?" She hesitated, suddenly unsure. What could she say? That she could not stop thinking about him? That his kindness had broken something open inside her? "I wanted to thank you," she said finally. "Properly." Boone shook his head. "You already thanked me." That wasn't enough. He looked away, jaw tight. "You shouldn't be here. This isn't a place for someone like you. Someone like me? Clean, safe, with a future. His voice cracked. You don't belong here. And you do. The question hung in the air like smoke. Boone was silent for a long time. Then he said, I had a daughter once. Iris's breath caught. Her name was Natalie. She was 7. He stared at the fire, his face carved from stone. My wife and I, we fought a lot. About money. About everything. One night, I left to cool off. Drove around for hours. When I came back, the house was on fire. Iris felt tears sting her eyes. They said it was the heater. Faulty wiring. My wife got out. Natalie didn't. His voice broke. I couldn't save her. I tried. I ran in. But the smoke, it was too thick. I passed out on the lawn. When I woke up, she was gone. Boone, Iris whispered. My wife blamed me. Said if I had been home, Natalie would still be alive. She left a month later. And I just fell apart. Lost my job. Lost my house. Lost everything. He looked at Iris, eyes red. So yeah, I belong here. Because I couldn't save the one person who mattered. Iris stepped forward and took his hand. He flinched, but she held on. It wasn't your fault, she said. You don't know that. Yes, I do. Her voice was fierce. You are a good man, Boone Hutchins. And what happened to your daughter was not your fault. He pulled his hand away, shaking his head. You don't understand. Then help me understand. But he just turned and walked back into the shadows. Iris stood there, alone under the bridge, her heart breaking for a man she barely knew. And for the first time, she understood what it meant to be invisible. Iris did not go home. She sat in her car under the bridge until the sun came up, watching the shadows shift and fade. When Boone finally emerged, carrying a worn backpack, he stopped when he saw her. You're still here? He asked, disbelief in his voice. I told you. I needed to see you. He walked over slowly, leaning against her car. Why do you care so much? Because you helped me when you didn't have to. And because I think you deserve better than sleeping under a bridge. Boone laughed, but there was no humor in it. The world doesn't work that way. Maybe it should. He looked at her for a long moment. Then he said, You're the mayor, aren't you? Iris froze. How did you know? I saw your face on a flyer at the shelter. Some housing meeting. He shook his head. I should have recognized you on the road. But I guess I wasn't looking. Does it change anything? She asked quietly. Should it? I don't know. They stood in silence, the morning air cold between them. There's a vote today, Boone said finally. About clearing out the camps. This place. The riverbank. All of it. Iris nodded, her throat tight. I know. I wrote the ordinance. Boone's face went still. You what? I wrote it. Months ago. Before I met you. Before I understood what it really meant. And now. Now I don't know if I did the right thing. Boone turned away, his hands shaking. You want to know what's funny? I've been invisible for 5 years. Nobody sees me. Nobody cares. But you stopped. You asked my name. And for a minute, I thought maybe things could be different. He looked back at her, eyes hard. But you're just like the rest of them. You see us as a problem to fix. Not people. That's not fair. Isn't it? His voice rose. You're about to vote to take away the only place I have to sleep. And you come here talking about helping me? About me deserving better? You want to help? Then stop the vote. It's not that simple. It never is. He picked up his backpack. Thanks for the tire change, Mayor. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to figure out where I'm going to sleep tonight. He walked away, and this time, Iris did not call him back. She sat in her car, tears streaming down her face, and hated herself. Because he was right. She had been so focused on policies and progress that she had forgotten the most important thing. People. Real people. With names. With stories. With pain. She started the car and drove to City Hall, her hands gripping the wheel so tight her knuckles turned white. The vote was in 4 hours. And Iris Pendleton, for the first time in her career, had no idea what she was going to do. But she knew one thing. She could not let Boone down again. The council chamber was packed. Iris sat at the head of the table, her belly pressed against the edge, feeling every eye in the room on her. The other council members shuffled papers. The press sat in the back, cameras ready. Councilman Roger Hastings cleared his throat. Mayor Pendleton, we're glad you could join us. We know you've been unwell. I'm fine, Iris said, though her hands trembled in her lap. Good. Then let's proceed with the vote on Ordinance 47, the Riverbank Restoration Project. He looked around the table. All in favor of clearing the homeless encampments and moving forward with the public park development? Hands started to rise. Wait, Iris said. The room went silent. Roger frowned. Mayor. I need to say something first. Iris stood slowly, her chair scraping against the floor. I wrote this ordinance. I believed it was the right thing to do. Clean up the riverbank. Bring in revenue. Make our town better. She paused, her heart pounding. But I was wrong. Gasps rippled through the room. Mayor Pendleton, Roger said sharply. You can't be serious. I am serious. Iris looked around the table, meeting each council member's eyes. A week ago, my car broke down on Route 9. I was alone, pregnant, scared, and a homeless man stopped to help me. He changed my tire in the rain. He made sure I was safe. And he asked for nothing in return. Her voice cracked. His name is Boone Hutchins. And if we pass this ordinance, we take away the only place he has to sleep. We take away his dignity, his safety, his chance at survival. She placed both hands on the table. I can't do that. I won't do that. Roger stood, his face red. Mayor, this ordinance has been in the works for months. The funding is approved. The contractors are ready. You can't just pull it now because of one man. It's not about one man, Iris said, her voice rising. It's about all of them. The people we ignore. The people we treat like problems instead of human beings. We talk about progress, but progress for who? Not for Boone. Not for the dozens of people living under that bridge. So what do you suggest? Another council member asked. We just let them stay there forever? No, Iris said. We help them. Real help. Not just sweeping them out of sight. We fund the shelters. We create job programs. We build affordable housing. We treat them like people. That costs money, Roger said coldly. So does a park, Iris shot back. We have the money. We're just choosing to spend it on grass and benches instead of lives. The room erupted. Council members shouted over each other. The press leaned forward, cameras flashing. Roger slammed his gavel. Enough. Mayor Pendleton, you're out of line. This vote is happening. Then I'm voting no, Iris said. Your vote doesn't matter. You're one person. Then let the record show I tried. The vote was called. 5 in favor. 2 against. The ordinance passed. Iris sat down slowly, feeling like the floor had dropped out from under her. She had failed. Roger smiled, smug and satisfied. The encampments will be cleared starting Monday morning. Meeting adjourned. The room emptied. Iris sat alone at the table, tears streaming down her face. She had tried. She had spoken up. She had fought. And it had not been enough. She grabbed her phone and texted Jenna. Find Boone. Tell him I'm sorry. Tell him I tried. But sorry would not keep him warm at night. Sorry would not give him a place to sleep. And Iris knew that sorry was not enough. She stood and walked out of the chamber, her mind racing. If the system would not help Boone, then she would. Even if it cost her everything. Iris drove straight to the 4th Street Bridge. Her body ached. Her doctor would be furious. But she did not care. Boone was sitting on a concrete barrier, staring at the river. When he saw her car, he did not move. She parked and walked over slowly, her hand on her belly. "I heard," he said before she could speak. "The vote passed." "I'm sorry." "You said that already." "I mean it." She sat down beside him, ignoring the cold seeping through her coat. "I tried to stop it. I really did." "I know." His voice was flat, empty. "But trying doesn't change anything." They sat in silence, the river rushing below them. "Where will you go?" Iris asked quietly. "I don't know. Maybe the next town over. Maybe nowhere." He looked at her. "Does it matter?" "Yes. It matters to me." "Why?" His voice broke. "Why do you care so much? You don't even know me." "Because you saw me when no one else did. And I want to do the same for you." Boone shook his head, tears streaming down his face. "I don't need your pity." "It's not pity." Iris reached out and took his hand. "It's gratitude. It's respect. It's seeing you, Boone. Really seeing you. Not as a homeless man. Not as a problem. But as a person who deserves kindness. Who deserves a chance." He pulled his hand away. "I don't deserve anything." "Yes, you do. You don't know what I've done. What I've lost. I couldn't save my daughter. I let her die. It was an accident. I should have been there." His voice was raw, broken. "I should have saved her." Iris felt her own tears falling now. "Boone, listen to me. You can't save everyone. I know that now. I tried to save you today, and I failed. But that doesn't mean I stopped trying. And it doesn't mean you stopped trying either. What's the point? The point is that you're still here. You're still breathing. You still have a chance to live. To heal. To find something worth holding on to." She placed a hand on her belly. "This baby, she's all I have left. Her father walked out the day I told him I was pregnant. My parents are gone. I'm alone. Terrified. But I keep going because she deserves a chance. And so do you." Boone stared at her, his face torn with pain. "Come home with me," Iris said suddenly. He blinked. "What?" "Come home with me. Just for tonight. You can shower. Eat a real meal. Sleep in a bed. And tomorrow, we'll figure out the rest." "Iris, I can't." "Yes, you can." Her voice was fierce. "You helped me when I needed it. Now let me help you. People will talk. You're the mayor." "I don't care." "You should." "Well, I don't." She stood slowly, holding out her hand. "Please, Boone. Let me do this. Let me try." He looked at her hand for a long time. Then slowly, he reached out and took it. And for the first time in 5 years, Boone Hutchins let himself hope that maybe, just maybe, he was not invisible anymore. Boone stood in the doorway of Iris's guest room, staring at the bed like it was a foreign object. Clean sheets. Soft pillows. A window that looked out over the street instead of a concrete overpass. "It's not much," Iris said from behind him. "But it's warm." "It's everything," he whispered. She smiled. "The bathroom is down the hall. There are towels in the cabinet. Take your time." Boone nodded, still not moving. Iris turned to leave, then paused. "Boone." "Yeah. Thank you. For stopping that day. For helping me. For seeing me." "You already thanked me." "I know. But I'll probably keep thanking you. So get used to it." He smiled. Just a little. And it transformed his face. Iris left him alone and went to the kitchen. Her hands shook as she pulled out ingredients for soup. Simple. Warm. The kind of thing her mother used to make when Iris was scared or sick or sad. 20 minutes later, Boone emerged. His hair was wet. His face was clean. He wore an old sweater Iris had found in her closet, left behind by someone she could not even remember. "You look different," Iris said. "I feel different." He sat down at the table slowly, like he was afraid the chair might break. "I forgot what it felt like. To be warm." Iris set a bowl of soup in front of him. "Eat." He did. And halfway through, he started crying. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just silent tears that fell into his soup. Iris sat down across from him and waited. "I don't know how to do this," he said finally. "How to be a person again." "You never stopped being a person, Boone. It doesn't feel that way." "I know." She reached across the table and took his hand. "But you're here now. And we'll figure it out together. Why are you doing this? You could lose everything. Your job. Your reputation. People will say you're crazy." "Maybe I am." Iris smiled. "But I'd rather be crazy and kind than successful and cruel." Boone squeezed her hand, his voice thick. "What happens on Monday? When they clear the camp?" "I don't know yet. But I have an idea." Over the next 2 days, Iris made calls. Lots of calls. To reporters. To non-profits. To lawyers. To anyone who would listen. She told them about Boone. About the ordinance. About the people who were about to lose the only shelter they had. And slowly, people started paying attention. On Monday morning, when the city workers arrived at the 4th Street Bridge to clear the encampment, they found something unexpected. Iris Pendleton, 8 months pregnant, standing in front of the tents with a megaphone. And behind her, 50 volunteers. Holding signs. Chanting. Refusing to move. The press was everywhere. Roger Hastings showed up, furious. "Mayor Pendleton, what do you think you're doing?" "My job," Iris said calmly. "Protecting the people of this town. All of them." "You're breaking the law." "Then arrest me." Roger's face turned purple. But the cameras were rolling. And he knew that arresting a pregnant mayor would end his career. "This isn't over," he hissed. "No," Iris agreed. "It's just beginning." The workers left. The encampment stayed. And that night, Iris went into labor. Boone drove her to the hospital, his hand steady on the wheel. He stayed in the waiting room, pacing, praying, hoping. 12 hours later, a nurse came out. "She's asking for you," the nurse said. Boone's heart stopped. "Me." She said your name. "Boone." He followed the nurse down the hall, his legs shaking. Iris was in bed, exhausted and glowing, holding a tiny bundle wrapped in pink. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey." Boone's voice cracked. "You okay?" "I'm perfect." She looked down at the baby. "We're perfect." "She's beautiful." "Do you want to hold her?" Boone froze. "I don't know if I should." "I trust you." Slowly, carefully, Boone took the baby in his arms. She was so small, so fragile, and when she opened her eyes and looked at him, something inside Boone broke open. All the grief, all the pain, all the years of believing he did not deserve love or kindness or a second chance. "What's her name?" he whispered. Iris smiled, tears in her eyes. "Hope." Boone looked at her, stunned. "Because that's what you gave me," Iris said. "Hope. When I had none left." Boone sat down in the chair beside her bed, still holding hope, and let himself cry. Not from sadness, but from something he had not felt in 5 years. Joy. 3 months later, Iris stood at a podium in front of City Hall. Beside her was Boone, clean-shaven, wearing a suit she had bought him, holding hope in his arms. "Today," Iris said into the microphone, "I'm announcing the launch of the Riverside Recovery Initiative, a program that will provide shelter, job training, and housing assistance to every homeless person in our community. Because no one should have to sleep under a bridge. No one should be invisible. The crowd erupted in applause. Roger Hastings sat in the back, scowling. But Iris did not care. She looked at Boone, holding her daughter, and smiled. He had saved her that day on Route 9. And now, she was saving him back. Not because she had to, but because some people are worth fighting for. And Boone Hutchins, the man who had been invisible for so long, was finally seen. Finally home. Finally free. Iris turned to the crowd one last time. If this story touched you, if you believe in second chances, if you think kindness matters, then share this message. Tell someone. Because the world changes one act of compassion at a time. Don't just listen. Do something. Be someone's Boone. Be someone's hope. The baby cooed softly. And somewhere in the crowd, someone started clapping. Then another. Then another. Until the whole town was standing, cheering, believing that maybe, just maybe, love was always worth the risk. And hope was always worth the fight.